Welcome to Alex Podcast.
You ever get that feeling like when a word is just on the tip of your tongue? You know it, but you just can't quite get it out.
Totally. We've all been there. It's like, wow, our brains are amazing, but not perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you think, what else is going on up there? Today we're going deep on how to, get your brain working better. Kind of like fitness, but for your mind. And we're going to look at how to, think faster, sharpen your memory, maybe even boost your mood.
It's amazing how much your brain affects how you feel overall, like your focus, energy, even how you handle stress.
So it's not just about like remembering names or winning at trivia.
Nope, not at all. It's about feeling good, mentally and emotionally. And get this, research is showing a connection between glucose levels and Alzheimer's.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's and what we eat. Okay, now I'm interested. Tell me more.
We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about something we all deal with. That energy crash after a sugary breakfast. Like when you have a donut and by 10 a.m. you're running on fumes.
Ugh, yeah, I'm guilty of that. Grabbing a pastry on the way to work way too often. But what's actually going on in my brain when I do that?
It's all about those crazy glucose spikes. Think about it. Your blood sugar shoots way up after that pastry, and then it comes crashing down just as fast.
What a roller coaster ride, and probably not one my brain enjoys.
Exactly. One study, I think it was by UC, found that people who had like a high glycemic breakfast, their memory and focus tanked all day compared to those who ate a balanced, savory breakfast.
So it's not just feeling sluggish, it's actually messing with how I think and remember things. That's a little scary.
It just shows how sensitive our brains are to like blood sugar swings, like trying to run a high performance engine on, the cheapest gas.
So what's the brain boosting alternative to my morning donut?
Think eggs, avocado toast, maybe a smoothie with some protein and healthy fats. Those will give you lasting energy without those crazy ups and downs.
So trading the sugar rush for brain power, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing glucose affects more than just focus, right?
Right. Let's talk about those hangry moments. See, steady blood sugar isn't just about clear thinking. It's also about keeping your emotions in check.
Okay, I've definitely been there. When I haven't eaten and everything suddenly bugs me, is that what's happening?
Yeah, when your blood sugar dips, your brain's basically running low on fuel. And that can lead to like getting irritated easily, being impatient, even having a hard time with stress. It's kind of like what happens when a toddler misses nap time.
So you're saying my brain acts like a cranky toddler when I skip meals?
In a way, yeah. But when your brain has steady energy, you're better equipped to deal with stuff and stay positive.
Okay, so we've talked about focus and mood, but you mentioned something earlier that really caught my attention. That connection between glucose and Alzheimer's. That sounds serious.
It is. The research is still ongoing, but we're seeing a clearer link between high glucose levels over time and cognitive decline.
Okay, so how does that work exactly?
Well, having high blood sugar all the time can actually cause inflammation all over your body, including your brain.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
So it's not just about feeling a little foggy after too much sugar. It's about protecting our brains in the long run.
Exactly. Choices we make today, even small ones, have a big impact on our brain health down the road.
That brings up the big question. What can we do to protect our brains and keep them sharp? Is it too late to make changes?
Never too late. The good news is even small changes can make a big difference. So let's talk about some things you can start doing today.
Perfect. I'm ready to learn how to give my brain some TLC.
One surprisingly effective strategy is simply eating your veggies before meals.
Wait, veggies first? Really?
Yeah.
How does that help my brain?
Well, think of it this way. Those fiber-rich veggies, they kind of act like a buffer. They slow down how fast that glucose gets into your blood, so you avoid those sugar spikes and crashes we talked about.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So it's like giving my brain a smooth ride instead of that roller coaster.
Exactly. And when your brain has that nice, steady energy supply, you're setting yourself up for better focus, better mood, maybe even protecting yourself from, problems down the road.
This makes me think about that type 3 diabetes thing I read about. Is that connected to all this?
It is. Some people use that term to emphasize the connection between high glucose, inflammation in the brain, and things like Alzheimer's.
You mentioned inflammation earlier. What does that mean, for brain health specifically?
Imagine this. Inflammation in the brain, it's like having these tiny fires burning all the time, damaging those delicate brain cells, making it harder for them to communicate properly.
Whoa, that's a pretty intense image. So, high blood sugar is basically fueling those fires in my brain.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. That's why keeping those blood sugar levels in check is so important, not just for how we feel today, but for protecting our brains as we age.
Okay, so veggies before meals, that's going on the list. What else can I do to, like, put out those metaphorical brain fires?
Another great tool is movement, especially after you eat. Even just a short walk can make a big difference.
Really? I thought exercise was more for, like, physical health.
Oh, it definitely is, but it has a huge impact on your brain, too. Research shows that just 10 minutes of walking after a meal can really help regulate glucose and improve brain function.
So instead of that post-lunch slump, I should be putting on my walking shoes.
Exactly. It's like hitting the reset button for your brain.
Okay, so 2 things down. Veggies first and post-meal walks. Anything else I should be adding to my brain-boosting routine? And let's be real, I'm not giving up sweets entirely.
And you don't have to. It's all about balance and making smart choices. So instead of having dessert on an empty stomach, try saving it for after a meal that has some protein, fiber, and healthy fats.
So no more solo ice cream runs after dinner.
Not necessarily. Think about it. When you eat something sweet after a balanced meal, those other nutrients help slow down how fast that sugar gets into your blood, so you avoid those big spikes and crashes.
So it's like my meal acts as a buffer for the sugar.
Exactly. And it's these little tweaks to your timing and food choices that can make a huge difference for your brain health. It's like a ripple effect.
I like that, a ripple effect. Small changes, big results. So we've got savory breakfasts, veggie starters, moving after meals, and being strategic about sweets. What else?
Well, let's talk about sleep.
Sleep. I mean, yeah, everyone loves a good night's rest, but how does that actually boost brain power?
You can think of sleep like your brain's overnight cleaning crew.
Okay. I'm picturing tiny little janitors in my brain sweeping out cobwebs while I sleep.
I love that. Basically, when you sleep, your brain's busy clearing out toxins, organizing memories, and strengthening all those important connections.
So it's not just about feeling rested, it's about giving my brain a chance to, like, reset and recharge.
Exactly. And when we don't get enough sleep, those crucial cleaning processes get messed up.
No wonder I can't think straight after a bad night's sleep.
It's like running a marathon with weights strapped to your ankles. You might get through it, but it's not going to be pretty.
And it's not just about how much sleep we get, right? The quality matters too.
Absolutely. That deep restorative sleep is key for your brain to function at its best.
So how can we make sure we're getting that kind of sleep? Any tips?
One of the best things you can do is have a regular sleep schedule. Going to bed and waking up around the same time every day, it helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle.
Like setting an internal alarm clock for my brain.
That's a great way to put it. And having a relaxing bedtime routine can also really help. It signals to your body that it's time to wind down.
You mean like a warm bath and a good book instead of scrolling through my phone?
Exactly. That blue light from your phone actually messes with your sleep hormones, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
So I'm basically telling my brain to stay awake when it's trying to shut down.
Yep. Making your bedroom a screen-free zone can really improve your sleep quality.
Okay, I'm starting to see how sleep fits into this whole brain health picture. It's not just a separate thing, it's all connected.
Right, and the benefits go way beyond just feeling well-rested. It's about giving your brain the time it needs to perform at its best.
This is making me think about how we tend to put things in boxes. Like, we focus on eating healthy or exercising, but sleep often gets pushed aside.
Yeah, it's easy to underestimate how important sleep is, but it's really the foundation for everything else.
So we've got stable glucose, regular exercise, and now quality sleep. It's like the recipe for a sharper, happier brain.
And remember, those are just a few of the many things that influence brain health. There's a whole world out there to explore.
Well, you've definitely given me a lot to think about today. It's amazing how these small changes can have such a big impact on our brains.
The best part is we have the power to make those changes and really take control of our brain health.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling inspired to take better care of my brain. Savory breakfasts, evening walks, screen-free bedrooms, here I come.
That's great. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about progress. Start with a couple things you can easily fit into your routine and go from there.
That's good advice. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into brain health. We talked about the effects of glucose, the benefits of movement, the importance of sleep, and so much more.
It's been a really interesting conversation, and I hope you've picked up some useful tips along the way.
I know I have. And I'll leave you with this thought. If what we eat can impact our brains so much, what other connections are there between our diet and our overall health that we're just starting to understand? Something to think about as you continue your own journey to a healthier, happier you.
That's a great question, and it's an area of research that's full of exciting possibilities.
Until next time, keep those brains sharp and stay curious.
Bye now.
We've been talking about all these great ways to supercharge our brains, changing what we eat, moving more, getting enough sleep. But it makes me wonder, are there certain foods that are especially good for our brains? I mean, besides just choosing veggies over donuts.
That's a really good question. And the answer is yes, absolutely. There are definitely some foods that are like brain superfoods. They're packed with nutrients that help with thinking, memory, and keeping your brain healthy overall.
Brain superfoods. Okay, I'm listening. Tell me more.
One of the best ones is fatty fish, like salmon, tuna, mackerel. They're full of those omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, and that's a major part of brain cells.
Wait, so I can actually build stronger brain cells by eating fish? That's kind of crazy.
It is. You can think of DHA like the building blocks for those brain cell membranes. It helps with communication between brain cells, and some research has even shown it might lower your risk of cognitive decline.
Wow. Okay, adding salmon to my shopping list. What else should I be getting?
Blueberries are another great one. They're full of antioxidants, those little molecules that fight off free radicals and protect your cells from damage.
So blueberries are like tiny little bodyguards for my brain.
Exactly. And studies have shown that eating blueberries can actually make your memory and learning better.
This is awesome. I'm starting to see my grocery list as a brain-boosting toolkit.
And don't forget about nuts and seeds. They're a great source of vitamin E, which is another powerful antioxidant. That one's been linked to protecting against cognitive decline, too.
Okay, so fatty fish, blueberries, nuts, and seeds. Got it. Anything else I should add to my brain-boosting shopping cart?
You can't go wrong with leafy green veggies like spinach, kale, collards. Those are packed with folate, a B vitamin that plays a role in how well you think. And it might even help protect against age-related memory loss.
I'm noticing a pattern here. A lot of these brain superfoods are just healthy foods in general.
You got it. A diet that's good for your heart is good for your brain too. And it's not just what we eat, but what we don't eat. Cutting back on processed foods, sugary drinks, and too much saturated fat can really make a difference in protecting our brains.
So it's all about creating a healthy environment for our brains to thrive.
That's a great way to put it. And remember, all these food choices, along with the things we talked about earlier, it's like they all fit together to create a picture of optimal brain health.
It's amazing how these choices that seem so small can actually have such a huge impact on how we think, feel, and even age.
And it's pretty awesome to know that we have a lot of control over how healthy our brains are.
Well, I'm definitely feeling inspired to put all this into practice. I'm thinking savory breakfasts, walks after meals, screen-free evenings, and brain-boosting smoothies.
That's fantastic. And just remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Pick one or two things you can easily fit into your routine and go from there.
Great advice. Well, it looks like we've come to the end of our deep dive into brain health. We've explored the surprising impact of glucose, the power of movement, the importance of sleep, and even discovered some yummy brain superfoods along the way.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope you learned some valuable insights that you can use in your own life.
I know I have. And it makes me think, if we can actually improve our brain function by changing our lifestyle, what other possibilities are out there? Are there other aspects of our health and well-being that we can influence in ways we're just starting to understand?
That's a great question to think about. Our bodies are incredible and complex, and we're always learning new things about how they work and how we can, unlock their full potential.
So there's always more to learn and explore.
Absolutely. This journey of discovery never really ends.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye.
Until next time.
Keep those brains sharp and those minds curious. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.